The subject matter we will be discussing this week is not for children and could contain explicit subject matter. Parental guidance is suggested. Matt and I are not therapists, but Matt was a bartender, and we're not giving advice as such. The topic at hand is for informational purposes only, and if questions arise, you should seek out professional advice. You're listening to Our Different Take, episode 10. Welcome everyone to Our Different Take. My name is Brian, proud father of two awesome boys, epic Star Wars fan, and to my left is Matt. Welcome, Matt.
Well, hello. Thank you. I'm Matt, and, I like all this weird shit, so here we go.
All right, that works.
I think I'm actually to your right, but...
Yeah, no one needs to know that, though. You're always to my left.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, because see, I'll just turn that way.
Perfect.
You're always to my left.
Done.
Mm-hmm. So this week, we're doing something a little different, I think. It feels like.
Yeah.
It's not as much of a jokey thing, like sometimes like what we do. But I think it's important.
I don't know, Brian. I think I could probably get some jokes going.
You probably could.
I think we will respectfully mock.
Respectfully. You can send in the emails to show what Our Different Take and yell at Matt.
If some people aren't angry, you might not be doing it right.
Jeez. Oh, okay, here we go. So, we'll see how this goes.
I mean, with over 10,000 downloads now.
It's true. We are worldwide.
Yep.
Worldwide.
What other countries did you say?
Iraq.
Oh, Iraq. Oh, no, Turkey too, right?
Serbia.
Iran. Yeah.
Serbia. Some people around Italy.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
I know. Australia.
Right on. Good day, mate.
Yeah. It's awesome. So hello to all those out there.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about what used to be known as multiple personality disorder, or what it's called now is dissociative identity disorder. Yes. So we'll probably just refer to it as that because that's what pretty much everyone.
Split personalities. Yeah, they used to call it split personality. Sybil.
Oh, Sybil. Yeah.
How many personalities did they say?
I don't remember how many.
It was like 23. It was like a huge number of personality, and a lot of people to this day say that it wasn't legit.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Well, that was a movie that came out a while ago. I mean, a long time ago.
Long time ago, but it was based on a supposedly true story.
Yeah, I've never seen the movie.
I've only seen little snips, so yeah. I don't know. I assume it's about a chick that has multiple personalities.
Yeah, I did see that in the research I was doing. Is that she did have that?
Yeah, tragic.
It is tragic, but so according to it's called the DSM-5, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders.
Right.
The DID is characterized as a presence of two or more distinct personalities accompanied by the inability to recall personal information way beyond what a normal person would forget. So that's what classifies you as having DID.
Got it.
Each of the personalities could have different names, characteristics, their own personal history. There's been cases where each alter is what they're called. Uh-huh. You could check their blood pressure, and each person's blood pressure will be different. Their size of their pupils will be different.
Oh, I was worried what you were going to say.
Yeah, no, it could be. I don't know about that.
Oh, Bubba's back.
Yeah. Oh no.
I don't know.
What was that sound effect for? Anyway,
moving on.
Yeah, moving on. So yeah, it's a lot of physical characteristics that take over also when different alters come through.
It's so weird, man.
Isn't it?
It's really fascinating, and I think truly tragic for people that have that. But man, I just want to put it under a microscope and poke them and stuff and see what is the deal.
It's amazing what your brain does to help you survive.
Yeah.
Like if the personalities can do that, I mean, that you would think there would be a way for us to manipulate our brain to where we could change features ourselves. Because our brain is already doing it.
I mean,
but I mean,
to a lesser extent, I mean, people hear what they want to hear. People,
right?
But I think to be and there's two schools of thought, right? There's those that think that it's caused by trauma, and there's some people think it's not a real diagnosable and treatable sickness, and other people think it's a demon possession. And I mean, there's so many different camps.
Yeah,
I think it's all of those,
all combined.
Right.
I'm under the feeling that it is true, and I believe we'll get into a little bit later where some of it could involve demon possession. You know,
which
I don't think it's out of the realm at all.
That would just make it way cooler.
Yeah.
I think
Except not for the people dealing with it.
Well, I know, but from me as an outsider, I think it becomes much more interesting if there's some demonic possession.
True.
You know.
Well, a lot of therapists say that it's super difficult to diagnose it. And it's estimated that people with DID spend 7 years in the mental health system before receiving accurate diagnosis.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because there's like borderline personality disorder that's pretty close to this. There's schizophrenia that's pretty close to this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different mental issues that people could have that are so close to this. It takes a long time for it to be diagnosed accurately.
That's crazy.
I was listening to a podcast, that one I sent you. The lady that's doing the podcast has DID, and she had like 2 really bad therapists. Didn't help her at all whatsoever. But the therapist didn't know, right?
Yeah.
Didn't even know what was going on. So she finally found a therapist like 4 hours away. They would drive, every Monday to go see her.
Yeah.
But she actually knew how to help them and talk about it.
And I don't know, you have more experience with therapy and those kind of settings than I do. Not from that you need therapy, but I'm saying that you've
yeah, I got you.
that you've
Maybe
worked,
I do.
That you've worked in some of those fields.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go through school and you become a licensed therapist, you can just go out and hang up a shingle, right? Like you can just go rent a place, hang up a shingle, and start counseling people. Is that correct?
It depends on what degree you get. So in order to have private practice, at least back in the day, it's been a couple of years since I was in it.
2 or 3 anyway.
Yeah, it's been 90 days or so.
Yeah.
If you have a master's of social work, then you can open up your own practice and hang your sign.
Right.
If you have a bachelor's in psychology or something like that, you can't have your own practice.
Right,
you have to have at least a master's or a doctorate to do that and pass the boards to have your own practice. I bet now it's a doctorate.
Everybody's got a master's. You get a master's,
right?
On a cereal box.
Right.
Yeah.
So it probably is a doctorate now. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, that still doesn't mean it's just like every other profession, probably. Just because you have a PhD doesn't mean you.
And as a kid, I went to
doctor.
a lot of them.
Yeah.
And there were only very few that were genuinely good at what they did and actually were helpful. They all listen well. They'll sit there and pretend to take notes and look at you and let you talk and ask leading questions and whatever. But I almost feel like anybody can do that. I got no diagnoses out of any of that. And I really didn't get any help out of any of that either, really, that I can think of.
Right.
And maybe it was good to just unload on people or whatever, but I don't think very many of them were very good.
It takes a talent to be able to listen well and then give advice that is accurate to what the person needs.
A gal who will go unnamed that I dated back in the day, we went to see a counselor together, and the counselor convinced her that she'd been sexually abused and tried to convince me that I'd been sexually abused as a kid.
Really?
Yeah, which isn't the case at all. But I think because of her, here's what I find, and this is, so I used to date a lot. And a lot of girls get psychology degrees. My theory is because they're trying like hell to figure themselves out, and they are confused people.
Could be.
And I think people that have gone through trauma want to become therapists to help other people, but I think that they can transfer that to other people. The lady that tried to convince me I had been abused as a kid had been horribly abused as a kid. And I and I think she was batshit crazy. And I think there's some of that out there. You got to be careful, man, who you see.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what was she trying to convince you of that so she could continue the therapy?
I don't know. She was convinced that I had been sexually abused as a kid, which no other therapist had ever told me. And to the best of my recollection is not true.
Yeah. That's nuts.
Weird, huh?
It is weird.
Yeah. Strange.
Well, like you're saying, she's projecting her past onto whatever issues you think.
I wonder if
she
that's
thinks you had.
that's a thing, though. I wonder if that happens, or if that's a danger that you have to be careful of.
I bet you it is.
Maybe.
Because they need to be partial and not think that you're going through the exact same thing they did.
Right.
Yeah.
Weird. I also don't have multiple personality disorder. I might be possessed.
Well, you could consider that as a personality.
Maybe.
Yeah. We'll call it Biff or something like that, maybe.
Biff.
Biff.
The genius demon. Biff.
The genius demon. Is he smart?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't think I'm smart.
But your other part could be.
Clever, though.
Clever.
Feisty.
I like that. All right, back to this.
Go on.
So let's talk about who's at risk a little bit. So DID is a response to interpersonal and environmental stresses during early childhood, like kids under 6 usually. And that's when neglect or abuse interferes with personality development.
Got it.
So your brain is growing, and then all of a sudden you have these huge stresses.
Traumatic episodes.
Stresses, yeah.
Right.
As many as 99% of individuals who develop DID have personal histories of like life-threatening disturbances or traumas at sensitive developmental stage of childhood. That's before 6. So 99% of individuals that have that, you can trace it back to life-threatening disturbances.
Early childhood. Interesting.
Early childhood.
I heard a statistic yesterday when I was listening to some stuff, and it said 1 to 1.6% of the population is thought to have some form of personality disorder.
What percentage did you say?
1 to 1.6.
So what is that? So what's the population of the U.S.?
500 million?
500 million?
Yeah.
So 1% of that, or 2% of that?
What is that?
I don't know. I'm not a math major.
Well, you just
I don't have my master's
led
in
us
math.
down the road to look like dumbasses on that one, bro.
Hey, someone write in and give us the answer for that.
Hold on, I got my phone again. 500 million. Well, that's 8 million people.
8 million?
Is that right?
Oops.
Don't laugh at me,
That's
Brian.
I was laughing at your math skills over there. That's a lot of people, though, still, if you think about it, because out of those, that's a lot of people that have had some kind of abuse when they were little.
So, well, of course, 1% would be 5 million.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess that's accurate. And a lot of people, dude, I can't, I have two little ones. I can't imagine. But I think the things that lead people to that are substance abuse problems, mental instability in their own lives, like mental problems, and poverty. I think poverty leads people down bad roads, man. So inner city poverty and things like that lead people to be neglectful, and
I didn't see any stats on breaking it down by poverty rate or anything like that. I didn't get that far, so I think a lot of this is really bad people. I mean, literally, people that should not be on the face of the earth.
There's some bad ones, and abuse on. I have a really hard time with that. I can't. I don't even like watching TV shows about that stuff. It bothers me greatly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into a story a little bit later, and this actually was on 60 Minutes in Britain, but we'll get to that later. There was a story that I found.
Okay.
There's a 60 Minutes in Britain. Did you know that?
Yeah, there's one. I watch the one in Australia all the time, 60 Minutes Australia.
Oh, maybe it was Australia.
I don't know, but I watch the 60 Minutes Australia all the time. It's a fabulous show.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really
I
good.
can't stand 60 Minutes.
Hard hitting, really good stuff.
That clock, like the tick, tick, tick at the beginning of it. Ugh, I can't handle that.
Everybody remembers it though. What a great intro.
Maybe
Whoever
something happened to
developed
me
that-
when I was a kid listening to that, because
Probably
that
not.
just gives me the creeps.
Probably not, Brian.
All right, I'm just trying to throw something out there. All right. So, okay. So, alters. So the different personalities in each person is called an alter.
Okay.
About half the people with DID have less than 10 personalities, and most have fewer than 100. So you're looking at less than 10 usually. The number of identities has increased in the past few decades. So a couple decades ago, most people had 2 to 3 alters. Now the average is 16 alters.
Wow.
Right. Each alter has their own age, sex, and race. They have their own postures, gestures, distinct ways of talking. Their inflections are different. Their voices are different. Sometimes alters could be imaginary people. There's been cases where an alter takes the form of an animal. Each personality reveals itself and controls the individual's behaviors and thoughts, like completely. And that is called switching when you go between alters.
They also said something about fugue states. Did you read about that? Where you can just lose huge tracts of time. And you'll wake up one day and you'll have a new picture on the wall and a new pair of pants, and you won't know where they came from. Or in extreme cases, one therapist said that she had a person that was seeing her who woke up in Japan and didn't know how or why they were there, and were totally freaked out that they had, for weeks apparently, been planning a trip and gone, and woke up on another continent.
Right.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. Again, I'm going to refer back to that podcast I was listening to. And a struggle that this lady had was how to communicate between all the alters.
Right.
How do you communicate? Some people write on their hands so they'll see it. This lady developed like a whiteboard. She put a whiteboard in her kitchen. And all the alters would write down what's going on that day. So then when the other alter comes through, or the main one, they could see the notes from the day before, so they know what's going on.
Well, it can be treated, right? You can merge them all together.
Well, I was under the assumption you could do that too, but what they said is all this happens when your brain is developing before the age of 6. Now you're an adult. The goal, you really can't integrate them all back together. The goal is to make sure that they all know that each alter's there and they work together to have a functioning life.
Is that possible?
But it's pretty rare to integrate them back into one personality when your brain's already formed.
Are they benevolent and kind?
I think a lot are. I'm sure there's a few that aren't. Generally, when the abuse takes place, an alter will be formed of a male. If it's a female, an alter will be formed in the male, and that male is usually tougher.
Really?
And can handle the abuse more than the female can.
Oh.
So I would say out of all of them, the alter that took the most abuse or whatever is probably a little bit more rough around the edges than not.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's a trip, man. It's really weird.
Yeah. Yeah. But they pretty much don't try to integrate them. You just try to have the best life you can and have all the parts function together.
How would you like to share your body with 5 different people?
I can't even imagine that.
What does that say to the argument that you have a soul and you go to heaven?
Whoa. That's deep right there. I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know either, man. That's interesting. Well, there we go. No heaven. I guess we're all just going to go into blackness and done.
Well, so what if your main person is a Christian and they believe when, you accept Jesus as your savior, you go to heaven. But then your alter does not.
Maybe like Voldemort, you can split your soul into little pieces.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
I don't know, man.
That's deep right there.
I'm just throwing it out there, but it seems like if your brain has formed legitimate different people, does each one of those people have a soul, or does it not exist?
Or is it one soul per body?
You only get one.
Or is it per personality?
I don't know.
Whoa.
You know, one of my favorite books when I was younger was The Body Thief by Anne Rice. It was a vampire book, but it was about being able to bump somebody out of their body and take over their body.
Really?
And yeah, it was a real trip, but it was fascinating to me to think about like person's body being like just a housing for their soul. So anyway, you know, through like meditation or whatever, you could leave your body and like push somebody out of theirs. It was really interesting.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I tried a lot. It didn't work.
No, it didn't work.
Tried and tried.
You tried?
Yeah.
You didn't practice enough.
Didn't work. Maybe I get distracted.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work for me. You know, not quite focused enough. Maybe the Dalai Lama.
Don't you have to be a vampire to do that, though?
I don't know. I don't think so.
In the book, you'd have to be a vampire?
It's been a lot of years. I can't remember if you have to be a vampire to do that or if you can just do it as a regular person. But in the book, you know, the bad guy gets bumped. And the good guy takes over the bad guys. But the good guys are vampires anyway, a lot of them. So the other book that I liked of hers was Memnoch the Devil. Which
I never read that.
It was amazing. Memnoch the Devil, you know, it's part of the whole Vampire Chronicles.
Okay.
Know. Remember Tom Cruise did the movie?
Yeah.
And the whole the premise of the Memnoch the Devil is that the devil himself is actually benevolent. And he has argued for millennia, for God to let these souls back into heaven, and God is ambiguous and wants to let them fly around the dome of the earth and just be shapeless and void and whatever. And he tells Memnoch that he is now in charge of rehabilitating these souls and actually getting them to the point where they can
really
go to heaven. It's a super cool take on all that stuff. It really
that might be worth reading.
It is, actually.
Yeah.
It was a very
Susan Rice.
Anne Rice.
Oh, Anne Rice. Anne Rice.
Sorry, Susan.
Susan Rice. That's her cousin. She doesn't write. She's a cashier at Walmart.
Ugly cousin, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. Sorry, but those two books, if anybody out there has read those books, by the way, love to hear your take on that. Please feel free to write or call.
Yeah, call our hotline. For the love of God, someone call our hotline. Would you?
Somebody, we're paying for this thing.
That's right.
Like 10,000 downloads. Nobody's called the hotline.
Just even if you just called to prank us or something, or say our car warranty's up or something.
Even Jeremy doesn't call anymore.
Yeah, what's up with that,
man? We didn't put enough preacher stuff on for him, I guess. I don't know. Come on, Jerry Bear.
I know. We gotta get with it. Okay.
Where
were we here? So
sorry.
We were talking about alters and switching.
Great. Switching between
alters.
personalities and a whiteboard. Yeah.
So I say switching can manifest itself in very physical ways. And according to Bethesda Psych Health Institute, here are some physical traits that one feels when switching between alters. And actually the list was like 30 things.
Oh, really?
I didn't write all that down, but I took some of the more interesting ones.
Yeah.
So this is what they feel right before a switch takes place. So they get a headache. Could be a headache. Could be a stiff neck. Pressure at the base of your head. Pupil dilation. Dizziness. Ears ringing.
All those things happen to me every day.
See, you do. Something's up.
Weird.
I think you're just plain old possessed. I think.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, or just weird.
Yeah,
one of those two. But those are just a few. I didn't go through all of them.
Right.
But a lot of people say that they get a really bad headache before their altar switches.
Really?
And then it switches. Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah, like you can feel it. You can feel them coming forward.
Doesn't that sound like possession to you?
It kind of does.
Weird.
It kind of does. Well, we'll talk about that here in a minute, too.
Okay.
Actually, we can talk about that right now if we want.
Bring it.
Here's another tidbit of information. The first case of DID was diagnosed in 1646.
Really?
Yeah.
That long ago.
That long ago. But they called it double consciousness back then.
Great.
And who knows what they did to the people. I'm sure it wasn't
treat
good.
them, like pour boiling water down their throat or,
yeah.
Shove something up their butt and
Probably. I'm sure it wasn't.
Confess.
It wasn't very good.
Yeah, probably not good.
No. But yeah, that was the first one, 1646.
Huh. Weird.
Yeah. Okay. So you brought up earlier that some people think that this could be a demon, possibly,
Yes.
and not an alter personality. So I found a chart that helps someone discern is an alter or a demon. So we'll go through some of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So an alter personality. Most alters, even persecutor alters, can become strong allies. There's a definite sense of relationship with them, even if it starts out negative. So that's a true alter personality.
Okay.
If you look on the demon side, it says demons are arrogant. There's no sense of relationship with them at all. So if you have an alter that's completely arrogant, they don't want to develop a relationship, could be a demon, not necessarily an alter.
Right.
Another thing about alters is they initially seem ego dystonic, but that changes to be ego syntonic over time.
Okay, for an alter.
For an alter. A demon remains ego alien outside of the person.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Nope, that makes sense.
Okay. An alter, confusion and fear subside with appropriate therapy when only alters are present. Demon is confusion, fear, and lust persist despite therapy when demons are present.
So strange, those demons.
Those demons. Therapy doesn't work on a demon.
Depends on the therapy, I guess.
True.
Yeah.
Well, exorcism's not a therapy, though, is it?
How do you know? I mean, it is kind of stringent, but yeah.
I guess so.
The power of Christ compels you.
Yeah, right?
Cross on the forehead.
Alters tend to conform to surroundings while demons force unwanted behavior, then blame a personality.
Interesting.
Alters have personalities with accompanying voices. Demons have a negative voice which has no corresponding personality. Alters, irritation, discontent, and rivalry abound among alters. While a demon, hatred and bitterness are the most common feelings among demons.
Weird.
It is weird. One more. Images of alters are human in form and remain consistent during imagery. Demons, the imagery of demons changes between human and non-human forms with many variations.
Wait a minute. They can, what? They can do photos?
The imagery of demons changes between human and non-human form with many variations.
Is it like infrared or spectra, whatever? Like, can they, does it look like Ghostbusters? Does it like?
It probably does. It probably does. Well, images of alters are human in form and remain consistent during imagery. So I almost think that relates to some form of therapy. Like imagine what you are or whatever, and then the alters are still human. While if it's a demon, they're not going to think they're just human.
Well, I've heard a lot of recordings of legitimately demon-possessed people, and there's no doubt. Like, when you hear it, there's no way, like, a 20-year-old girl knows that much Latin and can, curse at you in Latin. And what is the other language that I heard? It was pre-Latin. It was something spoken by, like, the Assyrians or something like that.
Really?
It was a trip. Yeah, she was, like, fluent, like, spouting out all kinds of nasty shit.
Where'd you hear that at?
I'm trying to remember. It was like 18 tapes of a girl that had been possessed in Germany, and they were trying to do exorcisms on her. Mm-hmm. And she came out with like some crazy stuff nobody had ever heard before. But then they were like, through analysis, they said, well, this is Latin. The other stuff wasn't Sanskrit. No, it was a Sumerian.
Sumerian.
Like ancient stuff, right?
Wow.
And she spoke Latin fluently and cursed God and like everybody that was there. And then she called on other demons and their names. And then she was a nasty little critter, probably a smoker if she was on Ghostbusters, like really.
How old was this girl?
In her early 20s. She died. They never
because of that?
Yeah, they never did exorcise the demons. And she just fell into worse and worse health and finally passed away. Yeah.
How did she get possessed, did they say?
Don't know. Wispy little thing. Delicate little thing. Yeah, really sad.
Jeez, that's horrible.
But demon possession's nothing to mess around with, man. It is no joke.
Seriously.
I can't figure out why they hate us so much. Don't really understand that.
Is it because that God likes the humans or whatever, and then sent the demons into hell, and now they're after us to just
I don't know,
do whatever they can to us?
I don't think so.
Quote unquote?
I don't think so. I think they're like that all the time, even when they're not in people or whatever. I think they're by their natures just what we would consider evil.
Yeah.
And just divisive. But I don't understand it. I don't know that anybody does. But every time I've ever heard someone speak that was demon possessed, nothing good comes out of them.
Yeah.
There's no cheerfulness or happiness
No.
or joy. It's all dark.
No.
Yeah.
Well, if you're living in hell where it's probably not the best neighborhood, you're going to be cranky.
Kind of rough neighborhood.
Yeah, when you're living in a rough neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hot.
But the thing is, why take it out on us? Don't understand that.
I don't know. Who else would they take it out on?
I don't know. It's a trippy world, man. Trippy universe.
It is.
So anyway, now that we've gone down that road, sorry.
You're writing this stuff down. That's some other podcast information right there that we need.
You want to talk about demon personalities? There's books of demon names and things like that. But the thing is, I'm reluctant to talk about them. I don't want to voice their names.
I think if we do talk about it, we should probably change their names to like regular human names.
Bruce,
Phil,
God of
Phil, God of Pain.
Yeah. Bruce the Slayer. Yeah. Call him B-Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could easily do that.
We could say it in Pig Latin. They'd never figure that out.
Yeah. Demons don't know Pig Latin at all.
There is no Dana, only Zool. How do you say that in Pig Latin?
Zule.
Ulze.
Ulze. We better be careful. We're going to end up summoning something here in my house.
Well, I do believe that they don't die. They've been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And they, too, I feel, are dimensional. So I think hell is a different place than here.
Like in a different dimension?
I think so.
Yeah.
I feel that there is demons. I'm pretty positive of that. Like, I've seen a lot of evidence of that.
Yeah.
And there's hauntings. They're different, though. And I feel like, although some people think they're the same, my mom would tell you that anything that's haunted is a demon. But I don't know that I believe that necessarily.
I think it's two different things almost.
I think it might be two different things.
Yeah.
But as far as like powerful demons from the ancient past, they're still around, man. And they can do really nasty things. Like, I don't know how to protect against that, really. It's not really I don't know. Or if you can.
There's got to be some way you can.
Right.
It's got to be some way because like those dudes on Mindseed.
Right.
They're literally doing the Ouija board and everything like that right there.
Right. They've been around for a while now.
They're still alive.
Amazing to me.
Yeah, I don't know how.
That they're still alive, but they do it all the time. And okay, so I'm not what you would call a practicing Christian. I'm not Catholic. I'm not, but I was raised in all that. And I know that the Bible says not to be hanging around with familiar spirits, not to contact spirits, don't do any of that stuff. But I see guys like Steve Huff and his spirit box and the way he can communicate to the dead. And it kind of, like, I don't know, is that relevant? Are those things real? Are they, and if multiple personalities are real, then the person that has those multiple personalities, how do they all go to heaven together, or hell, or?
Man, that's crazy deep right there.
I don't know, dude.
I mean, that's a really good question.
We'll have to summon some of those Babylonian demons and
Yeah, we
ask
can do
them.
that in the front yard.
Down
what
the
we
road,
can do.
who do you hate in your neighborhood?
Right. Let's see
Why are
here.
you in front of my house? What's this pentagram? No reason. It's all good.
Well, Steve Huff, like you were saying, when you look at the videos, he's got, pictures of Jesus all over the place. I mean,
yeah,
he
man.
seems like a really religious guy.
He says he's very spiritual, but I got to be honest. Like, he's been attacked by demons before, and he's been in the hospital because of it. Like, his heart went into cardiac arrest because he was like had a demon attack happen while he was doing a like reading.
Really?
It's kind of spooky. It's almost like they know who he is, and then they just decided to kick his ass one day because he was like pissing them off. Like, they just all showed up and did a smackdown on him. And then he went off the air for a long time and said he wasn't going to record anymore. Like, he wasn't going to do it. He's out. It freaked him out so bad. And then some of the guys, like different ghost hunters and different people, like, were interacting with him, and they convinced him to come back and do it again. And he swears that he's good to go or whatever, but I notice a lot more of that stuff around his house. I don't think having a crucifix on your wall or a picture of Jesus does shit. That's just me.
Well, and that he's not really trying to talk to demons either, though.
He's trying to talk to
Right?
spirits.
He's trying to talk to
people
some
that
people
have
that
passed,
died.
right?
Yeah.
Dead people.
Yeah.
And he has said before, like, when he I think he's very in tune. I really like his show. I respect
too.
him a lot.
Right.
But I feel like some of the things he says freak me out, man. Where he says, I can feel them, touching me or going through me. And then he'll say things like, oh, I can see them now. There's millions of them. His eyes will be closed. And I'll be like, there's millions of souls. I can see them. Well, what the fuck are they doing here? Why are they here?
Right?
Right? Like, where are they supposed to be? Like, and the people that he talked to in the graveyard, they're like, hey, we've been waiting. Aren't we supposed to go to heaven? We've been waiting forever. Like, what's going on here? They're just hanging out. Anyway, I got on the wrong track. I'm sorry.
No, this is all, it kind of fits all together.
I've kind of pulled it off the rail. But when you talk about multiple personality or dissociative identity disorder, which is what it's called now.
Yeah.
Where does that fit in? It's constantly on my mind. All that stuff is.
That is a crazy good question, because all of the studying I've done, even in school on this,
Right.
has never addressed that, ever. Honestly, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's something we need to look into.
I wish there was more information.
I tried to get a hold of a therapist so we could interview.
Nobody's dumb enough to do that.
I didn't get a call back.
You should put out a blanket message. Anybody that feels like trash in their career, please come on our show. We're gonna fuck you up.
Are you about to retire? We'll help you.
Let's hasten the end.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well,
I do actually have two friends, very close friends, that are both doctors, that both are practicing psychiatrists.
what the heck?
Dude, I don't want to. I literally like.
What the heck?
I'll. Why don't I ask some anonymous questions for our next thing? But I don't think they'll be willing to like put their name on any of this, and I don't blame them at all. But
No, I don't blame them. But
I
yeah,
will look
get some info out of them. We don't
they're
have to use
married.
their
They're
name or
actually,
anything.
yeah, they're really cool people. Actually,
They're married to each other.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I have much love for them. So I would never. I don't want to do anything to hurt them. They're wonderful.
This
people.
This would enhance their career if you think about it.
Do you think?
Oh my gosh,
10,000.
Like crazy.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Look what it's doing to our careers.
I was just saying to Elon Musk the other day that we're really starting to get there now with the podcast.
He's probably heard about the podcast.
Well, he was up in Boulder visiting his brother, and we were just hanging out.
Oh,
So,
tell him hi.
yeah.
Next time he needs to come on the show.
I don't like the name drop though.
I don't like the name drop. Elon Musk.
He's seriously a hero of mine. He really is.
Okay. Anyway,
Where'd we go? I'm sorry.
well, good discussion though.
Yeah.
Super good discussion.
It all comes back to dying, though. Always for me. It always comes back to, what the fuck? I'm getting closer.
Right.
I'd like to know what the fuck is going on.
I don't know. It depends on what you believe out of the 9 million things that are out there.
But it doesn't depend on what you believe. It depends on what's real. Fuck what you believe. Fuck what everybody believes.
I know, but
I don't necessarily believe in the Quran or the Bible. So it really depends on what's real. I need to know what's real.
True, but what each person believes, that's what they think is their reality.
Yeah, well, some people are Democrats, some people are Republicans. Doesn't make the Easter Bunny real.
What?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying, though. Like,
no, I do know what you're saying.
And much respect. I respect, if that's your religion and that's your thing, and you're not a fucking hypocrite, then more power to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all about it. But it's not my thing. And those people, if I ask those people, they'll be like, oh, the Quran, that's the way. Oh, the Bible, that's the way. Oh, Jehovah's Witnesses have got it nailed. We know we're the ones.
For
Fuck
sure.
all the rest of you guys.
Right.
Whatever it is, whatever number they've got, they're all going, and everybody else can just eat shit and bark at the moon, right?
Right.
But I really wish there was some data out there. And I'm sure in some government lab somewhere deep in the desert, maybe 30 levels down or something, they've got some kind of dimensional portal they can go through or something. But I'd really like to know what's out there. I really would.
Seriously, I think that's probably all of us.
I guess. I
would like
need
to,
to know,
too.
though. It troubles me deeply.
But you
all
might
the time.
not ever find out.
Right. And
Unless we find it in this podcast.
I say we order 5 or 6 Dybbuk boxes off the dark web and see if we can come to the answer.
Jeez. All right.
Let's do a baker's dozen. We'll do an even 13. We'll just
And even
get them all in here and pack them in the
13.
studio and see what else. I'll put them all and see what happens.
that would be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Perfect.
We'll work on that.
Yeah.
How much is a box anyway?
A Dybbuk box?
Yeah.
I don't know. I assume $50 or $100.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah. We need to
And
do
your soul. That's it. $50 and your soul. It's not a big deal.
all your peace of mind for the
Yeah.
next 5 years.
Yeah,
You
seriously.
could be driven mad, I think, by demons and things.
For sure.
If you didn't know what the deal was, I guess. Yeah.
I think if you go into it and and you protect yourself
But
with
with
whatever.
what? With what? Squirt guns full of holy water? What? Like, what do you, like,
We
I don't
grab a jug of water, we take it down to the priest, and he blesses it.
know. Yeah. And shove it up your ass and
And
then,
then, no, it's not holy then.
and then you're protected? Like, you drink it? What do? Dump it on the box and then it doesn't work? We get a defective demon box?
You put it in a diffuser. So the water,
It just there it is.
Everywhere.
That's almost dimensional. That's really good.
See?
Nice. Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
Water can be frozen or vapor or liquid. Yeah.
Yeah. You just put it in a evaporative cooler, and then it goes through your entire house that way.
Right.
So you're protected.
Brian,
all
I
you
love
need.
it. You've solved it all.
What else? Anything else you want to ask?
No, your rationale is amazing. It's really,
It's rock solid, my friend.
it is really.
It's rock solid. Nothing gets by me.
Well, I know the demons are for real. And I have seen, as a child, I promise you, I've seen an angel. Now, whether it was a fallen angel or not, I do not know.
Well, was it like white?
It was gray, really gray, and very dimly lit. But I was very peaceful. But then the Bible says that Satan comes as an angel of light and a being of light. So you won't know.
Did that have wings?
Yeah, it did.
Did it have
actually.
wings?
Yep.
Were you like sitting there and it just showed up?
I was asleep. Remember? I told you about this.
Oh,
I was asleep. I woke up and I rolled over, and like my bedroom wall was gone, and there was this angel there, and he was looking at me, looking down at me, and I just felt super peaceful, and I rolled back over and went back to sleep.
that's probably not Satan, I would guess.
I don't know.
I don't
maybe,
think you'd have a peaceful feeling, though, if a demon was there.
maybe he just showed up and was like, "Yeah, there's my boy. I get you." Don't you worry. I got plans for you, buddy.
I'll be back later.
Yeah. Fall asleep and he's, doing all kind of weird mumbo jumbo. You don't
Right.
know. I think it was a real angel, though. I think it was a good one.
Yeah, I would think you would know if it was a bad one.
Why do people think angels are pussies?
Well, I don't know, because I
don't. I think angels are terrifying. And like supposedly they're super strong and like
well, most of the pictures you see when you're growing up of an angel is
right.
like a porcelain looking face, and there's a little halo, and they're in the meadow,
Right.
Petting the cows or
hanging
whatever
out.
they're doing.
Being all gentle.
Yeah, there's very rarely one with a sword, chopping people, and
Yeah, but I think an archangel could like decimate hundreds of thousands of people.
I'm sure. But you never see that anywhere.
No. I mean, if you do, probably won't live to
Well,
talk
if you
about
do, that would be. I mean, you don't see that portrayed even in pictures or anything anywhere.
it. Right. Interesting. I should probably commission something for my garage of that
It's probably something you can buy out there somewhere.
archangel murdering millions of people. Blood.
Yeah.
As high as a horse's shoulder. Revelations. That's what I need a picture of. I have totally I'm sorry, I've disrupted our talk.
No, you haven't. It all relates together. It's
Next.
All right, so I found 2 celebrities with DID.
Real ones?
Yeah. Herschel Walker said he has DID.
Isn't he like a basketball dude?
No. Football guy.
Football. Okay, good. Yeah, because I'm so into sports.
Yeah, good job with that one. Herschel Walker and the Counting Crows. Remember that group?
Yeah.
The front man, Adam Duritz, has DID as well.
Is his name Adam or is it some other person?
The main one is Adam. The other ones, I don't know. I don't have any other information other than that.
Bruce,
but,
Biff.
That's the only 2 I could find.
Okay.
That there's probably others
Are
out
the Counting
there. But
Crows still around? I don't know that they are.
I haven't heard a song from them in forever.
Long time.
Yeah. I didn't listen to them anyway. In the first place.
I don't recall.
No.
I don't recall.
Anyway. So here's the story I found
Yeah.
on the Australian 60 Minutes site.
One of my favorites.
One of my favorite. No,
It is.
not me. Anyway. So this is the story of Jenny Hayes. And this was from May 27th, 2019. Okay. Jenny Hayes. She was 49 at the time of this story here, and that was last year. She was 49.
Okay.
And the story developed that she was subjected to abuse by her father, Richard Haynes, starting at the age of 4. 4
That is
years old.
So little.
Seriously. She, quote unquote, says, "My dad chose to inflict severe, sadistic, violent abuse. It was completely unavoidable, inescapable, and life-threatening. And he chose to do this every day of my entire childhood," is what she said. The abuse was so bad, it left her with serious injuries, and she had to endure major surgeries to repair her bowel and her anus.
What a piece of shit he must be.
Man.
Is he dead? He should be dead. Somebody should kill him.
Well, not yet. But she coped with the abuse, and she developed 2,500 different personalities. 2,500 personalities is what she said.
That's a long day.
Oh my gosh. I
can't imagine.
Yeah, I don't know how she copes with that. There's a doctor that was dealing with her, Dr. George Blair West, and he explained that the thing that seems to push the mind to do this more than anything else is realizing you have no way out, nobody's going to come and save you, and you are on your own, and you have to come up with a solution that is entirely of your own. Which is super sad because you got this 4-year-old girl
With nowhere to go.
being abused every day, and she realizes no one's going to save me. How am I going to live?
I want 3 days with Dad in the garage.
Jeez.
I can't imagine.
No. Well, what happened is the father was charged with multiple counts of rape, boogery, I don't know what that means in Australian,
Boogery.
but it said boogery.
Or is it buggery?
Buggery. It's buggery.
I think that's, you know.
Not boogery. Buggery.
I think that's some backdoor wrongness.
Is it?
Is what it is. Yeah.
All right. Buggery and indecent assault. So during the trial, Jenny Haynes would pull up the alters who were present at the certain time where that abuse happened.
Oh.
And they were able to describe the events just like it happened. So the alters, in a sense, helped convict the father who did all this, because she could pull up an altar and they could describe exactly what happened at that time, because that altar's still living in that time.
Her dad must be so evil.
Yeah. Dr. Blair West said it's almost like being able to click on a folder in a computer, open it up, and read it without any decay in your memory over a 40-year period.
That must be horrible.
Right. Because
poor thing.
I mean, you can pull up those. You don't want to pull up those memories anytime you can, but you know they're still in there. But you've got your other alter that's holding on to those to protect you.
Hanging on to it.
Right. Survival mechanism.
Good Lord. How much abuse would it take to create 2,500 personalities? Like, it just must be horrific.
I can't even imagine. In an attempt to protect her from the trauma, the alters even helped manage her senses so she couldn't experience things like smell, like what her dad would smell like, everything like that. That alter completely protected her from all that.
Crazy.
Some of the alters came out at the trial were a 4-year-old girl named Symphony, an 11-year-old boy named Judas, and a strong, rugged teenage boy named Muscles. His name was Muscles. So her father, when he was hearing all this testimony, he did plead guilty within hours of her taking the stand. He pled guilty, and he's in prison now. I didn't see if anything else happened to him or whatever.
I hope he gets raped every day.
That's an evil. It wouldn't surprise me if that guy was almost possessed.
Dude,
because that's straight evil.
Some kind of a monster.
Straight evil right there.
There's not enough bad things, like in my mind. Like hurting kids is, like, you can't even.
Especially like that. And I don't know if it was this one or another video I was watching where the father he would go to the bar and there'd be other guys there that were into the same thing.
Yeah.
They would pay him to go have sex with the daughter too. So I don't know if it was this one or another one, but they're selling their little kid like a prostitute.
That happens a lot, actually. Yeah. That trafficking like that is heinous. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the biggest story that I've seen, where at least the largest amount of alters that
That's incredible.
Heard of anywhere.
That's such a huge number.
2,500. I don't even know how you.
Poor thing.
I know, but the lady did end up she went through school.
Mm-hmm.
She did get her degree and her PhD.
She's a psychiatrist now.
I think she has something to do with therapy. Yeah. So
the theory continues.
The theory does continue.
I'm going to figure this shit out.
Right. Right. So I do have on our website, we're going to post a link that if you're listening to this, or if you know someone who might be dealing with this, there's a link they can click on, and it'll give them places they can go for treatment.
Fair enough. Okay.
Or help them anyway. So
yeah, man.
It's so sad, but at the same time, it's amazing that our brain can do what it needs to do to help people survive through all that.
Yep. It's impressive.
Crazy impressive.
The human brain in and of itself, really interesting thing.
Jeez. I wish we had full function of our brain. Like 100%.
Yeah. I wonder if that's ever happened or close to it. I wonder.
I don't know.
Huh. You have to spend too much time like gathering food and hunting and
right?
Like living. Like there's no time for all the cool shit.
I know. I want just to be cool.
Well,
wait a minute. That's a whole nother therapy situation.
I want for you to be cool too, Brian. My wife thinks we're the biggest geeks on the planet, man. Never ends.
If I get another eye roll from my wife,
I have to defend Dungeons and Dragons one more time.
Which we are going to play, by the way.
Oh yeah, I'm in, dude. I'm in. Totally.
Me too.
I want to play, and we are. That makes us uber
we
super nerdy, dude.
We are, but
yeah,
it's all right. I'm grasping.
I don't give a shit.
I'm holding on to it.
Yep,
right.
I'm in.
Well, that's about all we've got for this week.
I'm super looking forward to satanic ritual abuse.
Wait a minute. Maybe you should rephrase that. What the heck? You are?
The next podcast.
What the? Huh? When's that happening?
Later. Much later tonight.
Okay. Good luck with that.
Midnight.
Good luck with that.
I'm really looking forward to that podcast because I didn't think it was still a thing, and when I grew up, it was kind of linked to, all this stuff was linked together, and I have vivid memories of being made to go to the Presbyterian church and listen to the evils of rock and roll and backwards masking on music albums.
Right.
We're all going to go to hell, and my mom threw away all my Led Zeppelin. It was a tragic time for me.
Yeah.
But and I got it all back now, which is great.
Nice.
But at the time, I thought it was such a bunch of hokey shit. And there was some of that where it was just kind of like blown out of proportion.
Mm-hmm.
But you're telling me, and you've told me, it's a real thing, man. Satanic ritual abuse happens.
It does happen, and I think it's been swept under the rug, and it's a part of. I don't know if it's a part of our culture, but it's a part of whatever this is.
There's
a lot of people don't want to
subculture.
talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will talk about anything.
No, I'm excited to talk about that too because there's so much information on it, and like if we can bring anything to light, I think we should.
Yeah.
So,
well, just before we go, really would appreciate if anybody wants to chime in, call the number, man, or send us an email because I want to start interacting with our audience a little bit more and getting some more stuff to talk about on air, and and having that back and forth, I think would be really cool. We promise we will answer you. You will hear from us if you write us. You can, unless you tell us, we suck and you want us to die. Probably we just won't answer those. Maybe we will. I don't know.
Maybe.
You might be surprised. I got a new thing I can do to people that I hate, which is awesome.
Oh no.
I figured.
Oh yeah.
Well, should I let the cat out of the bag on here?
Nope.
Should I just leave it? Should I leave it?
Yeah, leave it.
Okay, we'll save it for people.
Save it for later.
For people we really hate.
Yeah, once we're done with the podcast, we can say it.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Devious.
Oh, but our Facebook group it's hopping right now. So get on there.
Yeah.
Post something. We'll respond. I mean, there's all kinds of cool stuff that we can put up on there. So
Yep.
It's ODT Nation for those of you that if you haven't joined, look us up on Facebook. So
yeah,
we'll get you part of that group.
There you
We're
go.
working on a T-shirt logo right now.
And YouTube. These things are all kind of in the works.
Yeah.
We've had our sound engineer. Rewind that. We've had our sound engineers working on the old YouTube process for a while now.
Right. Well, soon have video soon. Hopefully.
Yeah, I hope
Hopefully we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You want to read your thing?
I do, actually.
Okay.
I'm super excited.
Here we go. I'll sing to us in the meantime.
Don't do it. My thing. Here we go. You want to do the outro music? All right. It's like a podcast in here.
The crap?
Amazing.
What's going on around here?
Thanks for listening this week. We have some new listeners from Iran and Pakistan, which is incredible. Free Iran, by the way. Iran. Free government in Iran. Free the people of Iran. It's a big thing to me. I think they're already free. I don't know.
Okay. Maybe it's a T-shirt we'll make for our podcast too.
Welcome to the show, and thanks so much for listening. Send us an email as to where you're listening so we can give you a shout out. Please do that, especially Pakistan and Iran. You guys are awesome. Please send us your comments, suggestions, complaints, or questions to show@ourdifferenttake.com. We'd like to see that get used a little bit more. And you can also call our voicemail hotline to submit questions or complain or do an impersonation, really anything you want. Just call 970-343-4594. That's 970-343-4594. Don't forget to rate us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast and subscribe to the podcast. You can also hear us on Spotify and anywhere you like to get your favorite podcasts. We're on all of them. We have a YouTube channel called Our Different Take. Please subscribe and click on the bell so you'll be alerted when the new podcast is released. It won't be too long. That is all.
All right. Peace.
Thanks, guys. Peace out.